Good morning, America. Wanted to bring you a word to help you maybe where you're at today. Sometimes we struggle with stoking those fires inside of us to find inspiration and get excited about living. Because let's be honest, right? The daily life for most of us is lived in the valley. And that is kind of common. There's a certain amount of drudgery that goes with that. There's a certain amount of predictability that goes with that too. The problem with that, if I could just use a baseball term, we can find ourselves in a slump. It is something that we as emotional human beings will struggle with from time to time. So where do we go to find inspiration? Where do we go to plug back in and get that fire to be reminded that there is so much more going on than what we can see in that given moment? So I'm going to show you a picture here real quick. This is just one small, tiny snapshot of what's going on a little side road on this interstate project that I'm working on. So what you're looking at here is you're looking at a slope. What they've done is they've seeded it, so you see some grass there in the sunshine. Starting to take root and sprout, and you're seeing something here that looks kind of like a blanket. That's several sections of what's called erosion control matting. Sometimes it's actually called erosion control blanket, and it's held down with these long staples. Then there at the very bottom you see these sleeves. They're filled with like wood chips or coconut strips, and it's in like a mesh sock, and they're laid there in the valley at the toe of that slope. All of these things that I'm describing to you are things that have been done to this hillside to prevent the effects of erosion. And you say, Will, why are you explaining all this to me? What has this got to do with getting the fire back in my belly? What has this got to do with finding inspiration? A lot of us are like these hillsides, these slopes. If they're not tended to and taken care of, and the rains come, it'll wash out the slope. The point I'm trying to make is that if you want inspiration, if you want encouragement, if you are in need of that daily push to help you get out of whatever emotional funk you may find yourself in on any given day, you need to be reminded that in order to get that, you have to go to where it's at. And in this case, I'm using the metaphor, I guess, of the slope and how it's been tended to with all of these protective measures. They've dressed it up, they seeded it, they've put erosion control matting on it, they've put sediment tubes at the bottom of this slope. All of these things have been installed to protect this slope, this hillside, to become a permanent fixture that stays strong in the midst of life storms. There are elements of anything that you love to do that is not particularly lovely. Even the most inspiring things that you do, there is a measure of just straight up work. And it's not always exciting. In fact, sometimes it can leave you feeling a little bit overwhelmed or feeling like, is what I'm doing going to make a difference? I don't remember exactly how it came about. I think I might have seen something on social media. Maybe it was a meme. Maybe it was something I read in a quiet time. But in this particular case, it was in the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verse 38. And it reads the following. These are Jesus, or Yeshua's words. He said, "He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water." And I thought, man, that's really an awesome statement. But what does that really mean? Sometimes you're not going to understand it until you go through it. It's one of the mysteries of life, because we spend our time growing up so fast trying to understand everything so that we can become experts on everything. But sometimes we just have to grow into certain things and experience certain things so we can appreciate the depth of the words of our elders and of our master, Yeshua. He said, "He that believeth on me, out of his belly will flow rivers of living water." The belly a lot of times refers to soul, what's going on inside of your heart and in your emotions and with your outlook and your temperament. If you find that your belly is feeling empty, it's because you don't have any living water flowing through it. So how do we get that living water? There's a key word in this verse. He said, he that believeth on me. I believe in Jesus. I believe in Yeshua. I believe in Yahovah. But sometimes I still feel empty. So if we look at the word believe, that begins to show us a little bit of clarity. In the Greek, the word is pisteo, and I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, and y'all can correct me and explain to me how to properly speak Greek. But in America, I'll speak American. No, I'll speak English. It means to trust. But if we actually want to get to the heart of the meaning of what Yeshua's words were, we need to go back, as so many of us have discovered, to the language that he spoke, to the language that his Father used when he spoke creation into existence, right? Which was Hebrew, right? Okay. So if we look back, we can find that the Hebrew cognate for pisteo in the Greek, or believeth, is Shema. Now we're on to something. What does it mean to Shema? Does it mean to believe? Well, yes. But Shema is a Hebrew word that has a dual meaning. It means to hear and to obey. That means that we are actively listening, okay? And we're going to follow that up with an action. We're going to do what we hear, right? And this is so important because my wife and I have had discussions about this. A lot of times we have certain voices that try to come in that speak things that are by their very nature designed to bring and invite negativity and hurt and depression and all manner of negativity into our life. If I could just use the same demonstration that she explained, sometimes you have to just physically tell those voices when they come up against you, no. No. That's why Paul told us that we're supposed to take every thought captive for Christ. Do you understand how all of this works together? It ties together. You find yourself maybe this morning or last week or last year or next week, I don't know, but something comes along and you find certain things are trying to come against you. And if you're caught off guard, you will shema the wrong things. When we get up, we have to consciously activate, Wonder Twins, activate. We have to activate those right choices on who we're going to listen to. Because when the belly starts getting low and we need more living water, we need to gut check ourselves and ask ourselves, what and who are we shemaing, right? Because when we shema Yeshua, out of us will come living water. As we abide in him, living water comes in us and through us, and all of a sudden, now we feel revitalized. We feel rejuvenated. We've got purpose. We have eternity in our long view for today. And all of a sudden, the common and the ordinary things of this day take on an eternal value that is bigger than the boundaries of our skin. That's why we need to get out there and we need to protect our slopes. That's why we need to get out there and we need to actively do the things that Yeshua has told us to guard and to obey so that we can invite life and blessing and real meaning and purpose into our day today. Just an encouraging word to you from the driver's side chat. Blessings, friends.